love your slogan that you can have your cake and eat it too. Why did you begin this business?
I have a really big sweet tooth, so is my mom. And I grew up in Hong Kong, and having afternoon tea is a very big deal. It's because it was under the British rule, it was a colony. And so just like since I was little, like we always used to just go for afternoon tea, and there's always like a little bit something sweet, it's like within the family in the afternoon. And so I just have this like incredible like big sweet tooth, and as I get older and I start trying to make all these sweets, and when I see what actually goes into all these like sweet desserts, it's really terrifying, like how much butter I'm putting in and how much like sugar and just all these things, like why am I eating this? And then eventually I try to replace certain ingredients with like healthier ones, and so one by one like I just make desserts or like any treats that are healthier. I wouldn't say that everything is like healthy because it's not like eating an apple, but it's healthier. So instead of having a cheesecake that's made with like cream cheese and just sugar and butter, I use like cashews and replace some of the to make the consistency like creamy without using any cheese and butter. So that's how I really started it, and as I make it more and more, and all my friends and family was like, oh, you know, the typical story is like, oh, you should like start selling things, and I wasn't intentionally doing that, but people actually would pay me like to make stuff for them, even though I was like working a full-time job. So eventually, I just thought, okay, well maybe I'll just give this a shot, and so that's how we started.
Interesting. So how long ago did you actually start the business?
Officially, we started last year, 2017, end of October, and but we didn't really hit the market until February 2018, which is just a couple months ago.
Oh, so it's really recent.
Yeah, so our first market was in February, like a Valentine's Day weekend. Yeah.
Okay. And it's the two of you, it's you and your partner Evelyn. So what form of ownership did you select and why?
We selected LLC as a partnership because LLC you can be in LLC as a company. So that's really mainly for tax reasons. So for partnership, it's a flow through. So anything like any profits that you have from the company, it goes directly to the owners, and then you get taxed with the owner's income level. So right now, like since we're just started, and probably not going to make a big bucks like anytime soon. So in that sense, like we're not getting taxed at the corporate level, and then we also get taxed as a personal income level. So based on the tax reasons, like we select LLC as a partnership.
Okay. And what is it about your and Evelyn's two backgrounds that made you feel confident that you could be successful in this business?
So first of all, like we both have close ties to Australia. She's Aussie. She was born and raised in Australia, and she won a green card lottery, and that's how she came to New York. And I also work and live in Australia for quite a few years, and I love the culture in Australia, and also the clean eating movement that they started like way before like what US came. I feel like in the US it's really just started in the recent years, but it's always like in the Australian culture, at least like for the coastal areas. And so from there I kind of picked up, oh okay, you know, you can like eat cleaner, or like you can have alternatives or different ways to make food, and so I met Evelyn in the US, in New York City, through a climbing gym. We're both like very active, and I think it's like the Aussie background and also like the fitness background, and also like she has like a really big sweet tooth and love making her own treats with healthy ingredients. So we kind of just clicked. So other than rock climbing, and we would kind of meet up and just make things like make dessert together and just give it to our friends, and we were doing that for about like a year or two, just kind of like casually, not for any like business or like for money making, and after 2 years we were like, well, let's just see if we can make it. So that's how we started the business. So I think like with the time that we spend together in and out of the kitchen, like we get to know each other like personally, and also with the background, like the ties with Australia, and like everything kind of like just like fits in, and we have a lot in common.
Okay. And how long had you known each other prior to starting this venture?
I think about like 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What areas did you know going in that neither of you had expertise in, and what areas of expertise that you ended up needing presented themselves only after you began?
think everything except for making the food. Honestly, in the food business, making the products is, I think, it's the easiest part. It's everything else, like from regulations to licensing to branding to marketing to advertising to networking to sales to distributions. It's like everything, like even like just keeping like accounting records and filing tax returns, and that's totally not related, but very important. All the things that we just talked about. So going into the business, I thought, oh, making the food is like going to be the main part of being in business, but actually that's like the least of what we concern. Like that is like the part that we are most comfortable with. But everything else we need so much help from a lot of people, and we just kind of learn as we go.
Interesting. So do you have mentors or consultants that you use, or are you just completely self-taught and just trying to make a go of it?
Well, we're completely self-taught to start, and we joined Pilotworks actually just like a couple of weeks ago. So we're like super new members to Pilotworks. We have a commercial kitchen in Chelsea prior to Pilotworks, so it's not about like having a space to make food, but also the Pilotworks has the network and mentors and the resource that we want to tap into. So that's why we joined Pilotworks. And so we only joined Pilotworks like a couple of weeks ago, but I've been like, meeting with different type of mentors or resources they have available here almost like on a weekly basis, just to touch on like regulations, branding, marketing, packaging, distribution, and sales.
And right now it's just the two of you, or do you have helpers or any part-time or full-time employees or anything like that?
I have, Evelyn is not even like full-time on this. She's like part-time. I'm full-time on this. We don't have any other employees. I guess like my husband is, you know, the chief taster and the drivers and my sounding board, you know, pro bono. I pay him in food. And my brother was taking a picture for me. It's like to start. Also, I have another friend who started her own skincare company, and she's quite ahead of me. So I just like through like talking to her, like it gives, even though it's like not the same industry, so she's in skincare and in food, but I think like the trend is pretty similar. Because in the skincare, they more about like natural and no like harsh chemicals, and I think like the food trend is always to the same direction. So a lot of things is kind of, you know, transferable knowledge.
Sure. So some people start businesses with their best friend and find out the hard way that they don't each have the same skill sets or work ethics. Do you have a clear division of roles and responsibilities to ensure equal effort and to avoid confusion or even, dare I say, resentment?
I think we're still new, so we're both doing everything, but I think as we get busier, Evelyn is taking on more on the food part, and I'm more on the business side of things. Because the business side of things just like so overwhelming that you really just need like one, like you have to devote like a considerable amount of time. And so now I think just like naturally, like she's just like, I like making things, but I don't like making things like 20,000 times. And she doesn't mind it. She loves being in the kitchen, but I love talking to people, and she's like prefer to like make stuff like, not that like she's, you know, antisocial, but like if she choose, like she's happier like in the kitchen. So I think just naturally we kind of fall into, okay, I'm more the business part and she's more like the kitchen part. But in general, we're still doing everything together.
So the unskilled grunt work of a business, you just kind of divide evenly, or did you kind of have a conversation before you started as to how to do those just necessary things that may not be either one of your skill sets?
I think at the beginning we didn't have like black and white on paper, although like some friends had advised us to kind of write down like, you know, roles and responsibilities. But it was pretty clear that I have more like the business skills, because like in my previous background, I was like in financial services. So in terms of like numbers, accountings, and like keeping records, and like I'm more on that side of, I have more of those skill sets. And she's in the medical field background, so she's more on the nutrition and like, and she also like, you know, more in the kitchen side and recipe development side of things.
Okay. And the word Ocka apparently means everything authentically Australian. So you have a connection with Australia. You know, you used to live there, and Evelyn did definitely live there for a while. Are all of these derived from Australian recipes that you use?
We started with turning certain classic Aussie treats into and spin it with a healthier version. So, for example, cherry ripe. I don't know if you guys heard of these. I mean, everybody knows Nutella,
Right.
Vegemite, but Tim Tam it's kind of like the Aussie version of Kit Kat. So we would make a healthier version of like Tim Tam. We'll make a healthier version of like Lemonton, which like now like our Bliss Bite is really a spin of like the Lemonton, like a chewy, spongy type of sweet treats. Yeah.
So is that just one example, or is every example something that is originated as an authentically Australian type of a treat?
That's for most of our desserts, but there are a few things like the chocolate mousse. Not exactly a classic dessert, but Australians use a lot of avocado. They put avocado in eggs and all these things. I mean, like now, like you can get like smashed avocado in a lot of these cafes in the U.S. or flat white. That's a very Aussie thing. So it really just started a couple of years ago in New York City, not even like in the rest of the U.S. yet. But those are very Aussie things. So we put avocado in chocolate mousse, and that's kind of like has a little tie with the Aussie like food culture. For our cheesecake, that's not really something from any like classic or traditional Aussie treats, but I think like just in general, it's like the clean eating movement, like in Australia, it has like a huge influence of all our desserts.
So it may not be an Aussie dessert, but you put an Aussie spin on an American dessert.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So now, just for the benefit of timing this is June 2018 as we're recording it. So
Yeah.
you've only been in business since February. Well, you said October, but really your first market was February of this year, so it hasn't been that long. But in that time, what have been your greatest successes so far, and how did you make them happen?
I think the greatest success is really hitting different markets and starting to build a network in the industry. I mean, I can't believe it's only 4 months, but I feel like it's been a year. Like, I have a flexible schedule, so it's not like I have to go into the office every day, but every day is like a full day, and every day I'm like learning, and that's just incredible, like how much you can get done in like 4 months. So back to the question, like greatest success is like hitting the markets and people actually, we're getting feedback from the customers. We're tweaking the recipe slightly here and there based on the feedback and what we need to do in terms of like transportation, logistics of like products. So I think we make a huge improvement on our packaging and just the refining of our recipes, and also actually having a product like being sold and people are actually paying for what we're making.